Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to showcase off all of the characters as well as their core abilities in Pagan Online. Now, in the very beginning, you get to select from 3 different heroes, and after that you have to actually unlock the heroes by getting these shards that are drops in the game. Also wanted to mention really quickly that the abilities can be slightly modified. As you level up, you'll get points and you can kind of modify the skill a little bit. I'll briefly go into that later, but if you're looking for a very specific hero and you want to know what the heck they do, I'm going to have timestamps for every single hero in the video. So if you're looking for a very specific one, you want to fast forward to that, by all means go ahead and do that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started from left to right. We'll basically click on the character, we'll mouse over the abilities that they have, and then what we're going to do is we will showcase off the skins that are also available. So this is his, I want to say like the first ability that you have is basically passive, it's a trait. Most of them just grant some type of bonus. It usually just increases their damage. So after using one of his abilities, he gains temporary damage boost and adds life leech to his next primary attack. This effect does not stack. And then, like I said, I'll mouse over each one of the abilities. That way you guys can kind of see how it works. So it just cleaves, does a full 360 hit around him on the last hit. Power slam over here, which deals damage to enemies and generates fury. I'm guessing that's like his primary resource. I have not played every single character, but I know a lot of people have asked to showcase off all of the characters, so this is going to be a video for you guys. So it looks like he's able to fire kind of like a ranged attack over here and slows enemies. And then we have dash over here, leaves a fire trail. And then whirlwind. And next up we have a stomp that deals damage and it stuns enemies. And then execution over here unleashes a master frontal hit that kills most enemies if they have less than a certain amount of health. Okay. And then as far as the skins and customization goes, so you do have to unlock the character with currency, but then after that you can customize the character a little bit more by selecting a different skin. Now this also costs currency. Now in addition to the skins, you can actually change the colors. I'm not going to cycle through every single color of every single character, but I will at least showcase off every single skin, because sometimes people just like to view the skin. That can sometimes determine if they want to invest into spending more of the currency on the hero. Another question I also got asked that might help you guys out is, can you buy the characters early? At the moment, I don't think you can. You just have to unlock them by getting the in-game shard currency. And as far as the miscellaneous, I'm not going to go over every single one, but I'll basically just click on a few so you guys can get the idea. They're just little emotes. And then we have banners that will be coming soon and titles. Alright, so next up though, we have Anya. Let's go ahead and go over her kit. This is the class that I actually chose, class, hero, whatever you want to call it. So passive just lets enemies drop blood, which will heal us and gain extra damage. So Whiplashes is her left mouse button. It's just your basic attack. And then you have a Spitting Slash that will deal damage and push them back. And then we have Bloodsucker, which is a bat that you throw out and then it comes back and then it will actually heal you for the enemies that it passes through. And then Vitality Rush dashes through enemies and you get to heal. Currently, as of right now, I don't have mine upgraded, but it just has a 2% integer as far as how much it heals for per enemy hit. And then Swarm's like a AoE on the ground that inflicts bleed on them, which can combo well with other things. And then we have Blood Bolt. So this one does cost HP, but it puts AoE and then roots them. And it also leaves like the passive trait behind, the little blood things that you can pick up. And then I almost want to say the F button in this game is the ultimate. So it summons a heart, and then after a short while, it does a bunch of damage. If you smack it, it'll actually do more damage. And as far as the skins go for Anya, we have the Kula Assassin, Royal Blood, the Knight Countess, and the Corrupted Blood. Oh, another thing that I want to mention, the pets. Pets, as of right now, seem like there's only one pet in the game. Even if you click on other characters. I'm not sure if there's going to be certain pets that are only available to certain heroes or classes later down the line, but if you click on Anya over here, you'll see that there's only one pet. As far as the pet goes, it just gives you gold drop chance, 7%. Anyways, onward with our next guy is Topp. This is a tank. So his passive over here, or trait, as they call it, by restricting damage to a shield, Istok can build static charges, which temporarily increases damage. They almost all basically increase damage in some way. And then we have Forceful Swing, so it deals damage and generates his resource. And then we have Thunder Slam, deals damage and slows enemies. Then we have Mace Throw, so it deals damage and then comes back. Then we have Shield of the Righteous, so you get a temporary shield and stun immunity for yourself. And a weaker shield for allies in range. That's pretty cool. All damage to any of the shield that generates static charges for Istok. You have Taunt, so forces the enemies to attack you. You have Overpower, hit all enemies in front of you and heal yourself for each enemy affected. And then we have Thunder Fist, so summon a gigantic fist from the ground, dealing massive damage and consuming any static charge for additional damage bonus. And as far as his skins go, yeah, Deathlight of Calm, Child of Veles, Retributor, and Infernal. That one looks pretty cool. I haven't actually seen all the skins myself. Next up we have Morok. And so his passive is every primary attack inflicts Curse of Morok on all targets hit. So, Sinister Cleave, 3-hit combo, and generates Soul Essence. Then we have the Great Cleave, so a massive frontal hit that deals damage and generates extra Soul Essence and resets the cooldown of Harvest. Harvest, you blink to a target location and deal AoE damage. Shadow Step, becoming through and gain increased movement speed while being able to run through enemies for a short time. Every enemy touch is infected with Morok's Curse. Horrible Visage, inflict low damage and fear on all targets in an AoE radius. Soul Drain, inflict bleeding damage over time and consumes all Curse of Morok stacks on enemies around you. Each consumed stack grants you more health. And then Reaping over here, empowering your weapon with corruption and the ability to stack multiple essences of Curse of Morok on a single target, as well as granting Life Leech. And as far as his skins over here, he's an assassin. Let's do a quick little rotation. Bringer of Judgment, Deathrite, and Temple Guard. Alright, next up though we have Liu Kang. So his trait is Servant of the Two Gods, so all of his spells can be activated and invoked with Lightning, left mouse button, or Sunfire with right mouse button affinity. Each invocation reduces the cooldown of all other abilities by 3 seconds. So his first ability here, Lightning strikes that hit enemies in front of Liu Kang. They have Flame Prayer, sprint around and set enemies on fire while knocking them back. And then Wrath of Elements, Chain Lightning, as left mouse button shoots and bounces to multiple enemies, and it stuns them. And then Blazing Strikes summons 3 fireballs and shoots them in succession. Each projectile deals AoE damage and burns enemies, decrease movement speed while casting. Then we have Flash over here, trigger a lightning strike at your location, stunning enemies around you, consuming Sunfire and lightning dots to heal, and turning you immaterial for a short duration while moving in the state. You leave a trail of Sunfire. Then we have Mark of the Gods, Sigil of Perun, which is the left mouse button, so it creates a lightning storm AoE that deals damage, blinds enemies, and buffs allies. And Mark of Debog, right mouse button, create a boiling Sunfire AoE that deals moderate damage, burns enemies, and buffs allies. Then we have Elemental Rings. For the right mouse button, you get to release a wave of lightning that expands and contracts back to Liu Kang, dealing greater damage to further targets and slowing all enemies. The Fire Nova releases a wave of Sunfire, inflicting damage and burning enemies. And for Elemental Incarnate, left mouse button, the Lightning Incarnate is going to vanish and appear at target location as a huge lightning bolt from the sky, inflicts moderate damage and long stun on enemies. And then Living Sun, which is the right mouse button, transform into sun and dash forward in a straight line, inflicting massive damage to all enemies in the line, leaving a trail of blazing fire behind. So he's the Arcanist. Let's go and check out these skins. Okay. Alright, so next up, though, we have Lyra, which is the Huntress. So her passive is Haste, so you gain increased movement speed and primary attack speed and passive focus gain after not taking damage for 6 seconds. Then first ability is just Barrage, which is her left mouse button. And it looks like it is hitting multiple targets. It does like pierce. Bursting Shot, short range quick shot, damage that pushes back enemies, slowing them. Bursting Shot generates focus per enemy hit. And then we have True Shot, a powerful line shot that deals damage depending on the enemy's current health. And then we have Jump Out. So Jump Out of Danger. Jump Out has 2 charges that can be used as 2 separate jumps, or you can use both during one jump. If recast during the jump, it triggers an aerial attack that strikes all enemies in the targeted area. Then we have Leash Trap. So you can shoot a stake into the ground that leashes all enemies in the area so they cannot move until the leash expires. Leash Trap does low damage over time. And then we have Bond. So bind yourself to another enemy, friend, or summon Shadow Twin. Binding a friend grants both of you damage boost, while binding an enemy allows you to leech life. Each enemy that intersects the bond gets slowed, but that shortens the duration of the bond. And then Shadow Twin, summon a static shadow clone of yourself which taunts enemies for a short duration. Looks pretty cool. And then for the skins on Lyra, we have King Killer, the Rogue Traveler, the Sky's Royalty, Order of the Falcon, and next up we have Dimir. He's the guy that has the pet bear. So Child of the Forest, Dimir has a trusty companion, Vavran, to fight by his side. Vavran protects Dimir and benefits from bonuses from Dimir's gear. So Boomerang Throw, Furious Swipes. Dimir throw a boomerang that deals damage and returns to Dimir. Every 4th hit heals your bear companion. Bear form, use claws to rip your enemies to shreds and debuff them with shredded skin. And then Command Stance, Dimir change between 2 stances of your bear companion, Guard or Frenzy. Guard stance grants bonus protection, while Frenzy stance grants bonus damage. Then we have Call of Ravens. Call forth a flock of ravens to wreak havoc on enemies they pass through. If they connect with Vavran, they enhance his strength. Shelter, phase your soul into the bear, healing him over time while sheltering yourself from all damage. Then we have Call of Harast. Summon Harast from the ground, dealing damage to enemies and healing yourself and allies over time. Then we have Call to Action. Depending on the bear's companion stance, he will execute an action. If in guard stance, he jumps towards Dimir and taunts all enemies around him. If in frenzy stance, he will perform a massive AoE stomp. And then Berserk. Phase into the bear companion and take total control of him for a duration to land a series of devastating attacks. Alright. So these are the skins. That's cool. Also, technically just changed the bear. I can't rotate the bear though. Son of Wildborn and Son of Solstice. Okay, and then lastly we have Masha here. So she's a fortune teller, melee intelligence. So her trait is Deadly Dance. All evasion rating is converted to critical ability damage instead of chance to dodge. While performing a primary attack, gain 33% chance to dodge. And then 4-step, which is her basic attack. Combo Deadly Dancing slashes. Every combo finisher resets the cooldown of Tarot of Destiny. Blinding Resonance, fast attack that deals damage and blinds all enemies it hits. Sandwave, fire a cadence of flaming energy in a frontal cone and damage all enemies. We have Tarot of Destiny, throw a tarot card to a specific location, recast to teleport to it and receive its buff. After it expires, it will return Masha, damaging and blinding all enemies it hits. With each return tarot card, Masha gets a temporary damage buff to her primary attack. We have Blade Storm here. Summon a Blade Storm that circles around you and deals continuous damage to all enemies. Recast to expand the storm. Then we have Twirl, dash forward in a flurry of deadly dance steps and damage all enemies. And then we have Doomsday. So curse a large area on the ground. Every enemy that steps into the area gets marked with Curse of Chernobog. When an enemy marked with Curse of Chernobog dies, all other enemies marked with the curse receive damage. And then for her skins, we've got the Vagrant of Valence. It's kind of like a pirate skin. We have the Royal Jester. And then the Death Dancer. Actually, that looks pretty cool. And the War Chant. Like I said, you can change the colors. And again, all the pets seem to be the same. There's something else that I want to mention since we are kind of just going over the skills. A lot of people had asked about customization in this game as far as like skills go. Now, I'm only level 11, so there's probably going to be other things later down the line. But when you go into the area to change your abilities, so you unlock more skills as you level up, but that is the character's kit. To my knowledge, I don't think there's any more. Now, you can upgrade your skills as well. So you can click on the skill, and then there's basically kind of a skill tree, if you want to call it that. I mean, the progression is usually just damage. So if we click on like this one over here, you can see this is the bat that I send out. And basically, it just upgrades the amount of damage it deals. However, there are these larger squares over here, or diamonds, which can kind of change the build a little bit more, because this one, what it does is it grants us life leech. So I can either choose to gain increased life leech, or it can make it so the range of the bat is increased and the bat size is a little bit larger. So this is what I'm more so interested in than just the flat damage as far as like changing up the gameplay goes, because people have asked the skills that you have, can you change them later? As far as I'm aware of, this is the only way, but keep in mind the game is in early access, so things are of course subject to change. But anyways, there it is, guys. All of the classes available in the game, as well as the showcasing of these skills, because while I was streaming, I had a lot of people ask to show off it over and over again, and hopefully this video guide helped you out. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and let me know what your favorite hero is, if you've played all of them, or even if you want to unlock them. For me, I definitely want to unlock Lyra ASAP, because I really like that passive. Just the extra movement speed will help so much when you're like fighting bosses, because there's a lot of times where like you just don't have your mobility on cooldown. It's just not ready. But that'll be the next character that I will unlock, and once I do, I will give you guys gameplay of all of the heroes once we eventually unlock them. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and once I get some content for the other heroes, I will be uploading them. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. I'm signing out.